You already know he's in the building. I want to thank my Heavenly Father, archangels, regular angels, ancestors, extended ancestors, all light beings, all divine beings, all high vibrational beings, all timelines, dimensional portals, past, present, future, all at the same time, to infinity fold. Thank God for another day of being held in His grace, you know, allowing me to not care for the foolishness that we all agree to play, and knowingly and unknowingly. This dimension, realm, matrix that we all are a part of, and actually don't live in it the same exact way. We all have our own set ideology and ways of doing things where it's fragmented, it's not complete. There's infinite worlds within this one realm, this one planet, this one solar system, galaxy, and so on. Just on this little speck of dust in the vastness of, the all in all. There's understandings, lifestyles, cultures that we all should be aware of, and I believe, in this era is aware of, but we don't see their sacredness is also our sacredness because of the the illusion of separation that's forced upon us or programmed in us from the ones that truly know and hatched a hell of a global domination just on some real binky in the brain type shit. If you want to go there, you know, even though you're gonna say I'm bugging for saying that, but if you ever watch that cartoon or anything with a person that truly his true goal is to rule the world, one individual can't do it solely. It has to have components that do their job, that it needs to be done for these things to happen. And somehow they was able to do it. I know it didn't just happen instantly, but it took time. And throughout the generations, we lost the truth, and they was able to capitalize over it. Right? My known ethnicity is what you call Black American on paper, and you know my my race, as far as in the human race, my so-called species in the on human race, because it's only the human race. It's not the black race, the black what you call the white race, the Spanish race. We all one. We all come from one. But that's getting off, and it's all on division, all on competition, and the higher ups get individuals that's greedy, that's how you say gullible, that easy to lead, you know. Long as they feeding them what you call, they desires to a certain extent, or give them illusion that they could have more than everybody else. They by what they seeing, how the world goes, they jump on it. You know, a lot of our politicians is on it like that, or have been turned into that because when you one of us, or the so-called lower class, you feel what the people feel. You feel the realness of the system that is oppressing us or suppressing us, and the wealth that they have capitalized on or have acquired is basically off of all of us, off of our energy, off of our lack of knowledge, and that's a profound verse in the scriptures. Is my people perish for the lack of knowledge, and I know it's impossible to know all, but the more you know, the better prepared and the better understanding you will have. You will, able to navigate that situations and others because of the knowledge that that you acquired, that you so-called don't feel that you need. And it's real funny how we pick and choose. As we all know, that's our superpower as far as being in our vessels, our spiritual vehicles that we so find ourselves in at this moment. It's like I said, God given. We could choose right from wrong. You know, um, plenty or lack. Um, joy or sorrow. We we actually choose those things. Somebody could bring sorrow or trigger you to be sorrow, but it's you to stay. It's up to you to stay in that or let it pass through you. It really holds no weight. It does hit, and you allow it to do its process. But if you holding it, you're not letting it go. You're not allowing it to do its process. You you keeping it stuck, and you hurting yourself and don't even know it. Yes, we all go through some, how you say, traumatizing stuff because we don't understand the true system of how we supposed to live. We have glimpses, we have, doctrine that, if heard or read in true with, you know, true openness and trying to understand what it's trying to convey, we all know it is to be truth, even if it's pieced, even if it ain't fully whole. It's still holds immense value. And if we did actually move with those profound wisdom or experiences, because that's what wisdom is. Wisdom is experience, 100%. Knowledge is one thing, but wisdom comes with experience. You can have knowledge of something, but if you don't have the experience of it, you don't have the wisdom of it. You just gotta, how you say, a common sense ideology of it. It's crazy. I've learned a lot. It's learning a lot. I apologize for that interruption. You know, the negative forces do what they try to do to deter you, and out of envy, they do little shit and continue to do little shit to their own hurt. Mhm. And, and even if you try to explain it to them, they'll get upset at you about that. And it's just crazy, but I just want everybody to know that I know. I want everybody to know that I know. You could deny it all you want, but you see the difference. You feel the difference. And there's no love lost. But it's just sad. And I'm not sad for it. I'm just saying it's sad because God, you see God is real. You know God is real. And he got it in your face. And it's not that he wants to have it in your face. You know why it's in your face. And don't even want to even admit that. It's just, I don't know what to say anymore. And it's not my place to. My job is done already. I'm aware the thing that y'all didn't want me to be. And we here. It's payday, it's collection. It's give back what's been taken quietly, with a smile on the face, with open arms, but with swords, knives, and everything else they thought of behind the scenes. And at one point, by being strong in you know, the mental aspect of comprehension and having the true will of trying to understand shit, you know, you want answers, but then after a while, you already know the answers because God is going to make everything clear. And it's only up to you to accept it and let it pass. Because if you hold it, you could either or die or, you know, get caught up in situations that you wasn't meant to get caught up in. And all because lack of knowledge, lack of awareness. Stuff that, you know, our seniors, our elders supposed to have passed these things down strongly. They strong core values. It'll keep the family tight. It'll keep everybody fed and prosper. Right now, as we see, family is against family, brother against brother, sister against sister, sister against brother, brother against sister, and so on. Aren't these things spoken in the word, prophesied in Revelations, that men and women will be beautiful? Aren't we seeing this now? Even the ones that you might say ill to is able to change in scope and manipulate to attract what they normally wouldn't be able to attract. Not saying that they couldn't attract what they wanted to attract, but with the superficialness of society, you know, all of us had seen couples that you'll look at, the mate and be like, oh, for real, you chose that? Which it ain't our place, and that's also judgment, which we wouldn't want to be placed on us, but it happens. It might not be, how you say, done intently. It just, your insight on whatever you think, but you don't have to speak on it either. Speak on it. That's putting it into a negative. You can see something and keep that to yourself because it wasn't a good thought. Who are you to care about an individual that you might not even know and what they dealing with? So, and we all absent-mindedly do certain shit like that. You see a bum on the street and not knowing how, why, and still that's none of our business. But wherever anybody's at is because of circumstances and choices. Everything is not purely outside influence. You have to be man or woman enough or human enough to admit that you don't know all, and a lot of us is just floating and experiencing what we experiences and hopefully surviving whatever we experience and in time or be enlightened that whatever you've been through is a treasure trove of wealth. It's knowledge that is truth. And if nobody go through the exact situation you experience, if it's similar, your insight is truly golden because you're not just talking, oh, you actually experience. So you can cut through all the crap. You ain't gonna say, oh, you should do this, you should do this. You be like, hold on, check this out. I did this, that didn't work. I did that. When I was going through this didn't work. I'm gonna show you what you do. This is what I'm gonna give you, and you can use it or not use it. But I'm telling you, this will work for you because I have actually put it into use. And 9 times out of 10, if a person actually do look into it and it works for them, they might not even tell you that they used it, but I guarantee you they happy as shit that you gave them that information because they could have been still searching how to get out of a situation, which there could have been a lot of people that's around them that has that same information that supposed to or so-called love the individual and don't enlighten them to it. Why is that? Competition. I gotta be better than you. Or envy. Damn, you always you, this is looking over the fence instead of taking care of your yard and building your garden. We looking over at somebody. Oh, I don't have that. You don't have that because you didn't plan it. You didn't work on it. You didn't. You didn't. You just looking over at somebody else doing the work in their yard and being mad that they doing the work when you could be doing the same work in yours. And yours might come out better than theirs because they might look over and be like, oh, damn, I don't have that. Damn. And then and if you are looking, you can ask the question, yo, how did you do that? Like, what you go, can you show me? Can you explain what can I do over here to what you go to make mine look a little better? information, information that we don't have or didn't get or do have and don't know how to use it because it's supposed to be used in everything, not just that one area. Everything, all your knowledge that you put can be used in every situation. But we don't see it that way. It's got too many goddamn flies on the wall. It's just sad when they know these things themselves, but they just don't live that way. They want to live the other way, but act like they live this way. False faces, and it could be anybody. It could be the closest one to you, and I mean anybody. It could be your favorite grandmother. It could be your moms. It could be your pops. It could be your kid. It could be your coworker. It could be your girl. It could be anybody. But you gotta be aware of the undertones that 9 times out of 10 you don't choose to see because we have a set belief on how we see things. until we enlighten and have an open mind to look at it and see the truth, if any, that resides there, and adapt with it. Everything is evolving, everything is adaptation, everything is learning, even the stuff you don't want to learn. Because at the end of the day, if you need it and nobody else around with it, you fuck. Fuck, we fuck. You fuck. Because somebody else could have the knowledge and don't even want to share it. So you still fuck. So why not acquire the knowledge that could benefit you in a situation that you pray that would never happen? We perish for lack of knowledge. We perish because of envy, competition, ego, and being bruised, you know, through our evolving and not growing, just, resenting and holding shit for eons and passing it around and passing it around because they went through it. Not because you deserve it, because you went through it. And then they even go beyond that. They want you to go through more than what they went through. Just, it's real sickening. It could make you hate everything. It could make you go doodle. It could make you go into rage. Real petty shit. Shit that you wouldn't expect your senior, fuck your peers, but your seniors, your 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 grand seniors that so-called supposed to pass down their wisdom and knowledge and know-how for us to, carry the baton. They don't even want us to do that. There's people with jobs that they have no business being in, but yet they have these jobs because of family, because of lineage, because of who they know. And all those individuals are just puppets being used, but patted on their back, making them feel special. I know how I'm talking, I sound bitter, but I'm not bitter. I'm speaking reality. I'm speaking the truth of what's happening to all of us, or what has happened to all of us. And if we don't continue to wake up and be truthful to ourselves, number one, two, start working on ourselves individually instead of worrying about everybody fucking else, you will see what I'm talking about. You will have more of an understanding of what I'm talking about. And getting upset or wanting to, how you say, get revenge. You could say it that way, or set the story straight. And even if you do set the story straight, if the individuals wants to continue to ignore whatever your input was on the subject, because your input is not absolute. Your input is one part of a whole. So if one person or me, say me, is just giving my part and the other individual is not able to give their part, how can you say my part is true? No matter how convicted or how you say well versed in portraying, acting, putting on that mask, putting on that persona to manipulate the situation in their favor for however they feel the situation needs to be played for their gain. And it's all out of ego, it's all out of fear, it's all out of lack. You know, there's a saying, fake it until you make it. But if you're faking it, how can you make it? For you to fake it, you're supposed to learn the part that you're supposed to play, right? So if you act in a part, you should have the fundamentals of able to fulfill whatever you faking, right? Even if it's makeshift, you don't. I like the actors in the movie, the parts that they play. You don't think they just read the part and automatically know how to what you call it to deliver it, or there's key words, key sentences that tell you, okay, this is supposed to be dramatic, this is supposed to be sentimental, this is supposed to be, and that's if your reading comprehension allows you to grab it like that, or they might have little sections, saying, in quotations, this is how you supposed, you're supposed to read this or act out this part. And even though they faking, they have to actually get into that mindset. And for you to get into that mindset, you have to study. And if you're studying, that means you learning, right? So how can you make it? By faking it. And if you are faking it, that's because somebody sat you there and they actually doing the job for you and giving you some bread or, a little foundation that got you oohing and ahhing. But because you faking it, you don't know how much you really making for that individual. And you might be getting 1% of the whole situation. But yet you we happy because it's more than what we see somebody else have and we able to, oh, I got this and you don't have this and and if you are an individual that does that, you don't feel no worth for yourself, for the simple fact a person that has that and truly wields that foundation or that stability. They not throwing it in nobody's face because they knew what they had to do to acquire that. Nothing comes easy. We all know that. Nothing comes for free. We all know that. We should all know that. A gift is not always a gift. A smile is not always a smile. All these are different scenarios, but all common law through all of them. And it's not even common law. It's absolute creation laws. And you just see it used in multiple scenarios that are separate but all connected. Like I've been saying, everything is connected. Where you could use one thing, you could use in all. But we don't see it that way. We ain't trained to see it that way. Everything is separate. Everything is prioritized. But without one, there is no other. For real. Don't everything here on this planet needs to be here to it's I will say 100% state of purity for it to keep sustaining all of us. Even though we know it ain't running on 100% on how we've been doing. And we want to talk about global warming, we want to talk about all this other shit, but we still continuing to deplete what don't supposed to be depleted. Right now, we in this AI phase. Do you know the real big AI systems that they build and needs massive amount of water for it to for it to consume, for it to do its job. Everything on this planet needs water, and this thing is gobbling up more water than any human, than 9 billion people on this encounter on the face of the earth. And we building stuff like that that's gonna take away from us. We already buying water. Sooner or later they're gonna have us buying air. And people will chuckle at that shit. But if we don't put a check in it on it, our governmental laws really don't hold no fucking weight when the people that live in these what you call so-called government is against whatever these leaders, so-called leaders, are doing behind the scenes. That's why a lot of stuff is being done. We don't know about it until it's done. And then we so profoundly dumb or naive where when we find out the law is the law, even though you didn't know the law was the law, but it's the law. It's been passed and all this good shit. Do you know if the people don't follow that law, or how you say, agree with that law is obsolete? But yet the government won't tell you that. They tell you it's law. It's already law. You have to go through this system, that system, this. No. When it's unified, it's automatic eradicated. Number one, if you don't, you lose your seat. The one that made the law. You automatic. Matter of fact, you're lucky you ain't being hung. You lucky you ain't being lynched. And this is another reason why they, what you call it, they doing these bunkers and all that crazy shit. Trying to get away, what you call silently, when shit is about to go down, when everything is disclosed. Forget just the UFOs and aliens as far disclosure of the truth, complete truth of what's been going on behind the scenes, of the wickedness, the the atrocities against all of us for their capitalism, not knowing that when we all wiped out, they next. But they don't care about that. They living so called good now. Their families are living so called good now. We worrying about the now, but we ain't worrying about the later. And the later is eternal. Some real funny shit. I'm gonna say some profound shit. I don't know it all. I'm not a scholar. I don't have BAs. I don't have no bachelors. I don't what you go. I don't no masters. I don't have none of that shit. I, but yet the things that I say is true. The things that I say is simple, which the complicated is made off the simple. But yet we want to keep everything complicated when you go down to its basic form. It eliminates whatever you saying the problem is, because you went straight back to the root and work your way back up. And when you hit that problem again, you know where that problem is. But you got to go back down to the root and go back up. But, our scholars and bigwigs that sit in that seat is going to say, but it's not that, it's this. It's not this, it's that. It's not this, it's that. It's that. That's to keep their money coming. As long as the problem don't get fixed, they constantly get paid. Do, do you understand that? That's just what everybody's doing as far as fixing stuff. You're a repairer. Anybody that truly is a repairer repairs it to an extent where you'll get a good life, a good time out of it, or a good, lifespan out of it. But eventually, you'll have to come back to one of us to come back to take care of it again. And the longer that it takes it to break down is the longer that I gotta wait for money. So how long do you think I'm gonna allow that to work? Because if I fix it to a point where you never have to come back to me again, I don't make no money, right? Stuff we know, but we don't want to believe that. We choose not to believe that. We agree with that's how it's supposed to go. But if you have this knowledge yourself, you don't need that individual to repair anything, because you can repair it yourself. And when you repair it, you're gonna make sure it's to its most. utmost toppest, you know, design where you don't have to do it no more. Or if you do have to do it, it'll be way off. That will save you money and also motherfucking time and stress. Because when you don't know, son, I could charge you whatever I want to charge you because you don't know it. You don't know how to do it, and you definitely need me or somebody like me to do it for you. And and no matter who you find, even if it's a so-called set rate, they say, okay, the part is this is this, but for me to come out there just to see the situation, you gotta pay me. Then after you do that, and I say, okay, this is I see what it is. This is what I say you need. Da, 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 da. You gotta pay me. Number one, you gotta pay for the parts, and not just the part. You're gonna pay extra, not just what the parts really cost, but more than what the part really costs, because I'm the one ordering it for you. Without me, you can't get the part. Matter of fact, you don't even know what the part is, and even if you did get the part, you still need me to do it. And so I still can say what I want to. Are you getting back to earlier? My people die of lack of knowledge. You didn't say lack of wisdom. You said lack of knowledge. Like I said, I get it, but this is not the way to go. If everybody is helping everybody, where's that going wrong at? Show me where the flaw in that is at. That means you don't have to kill nobody. That means you don't have to rob nobody. That means you don't have to do none of the things that you wouldn't do to acquire the things that you feel that you want or you feel that will make you be something or look like something in other people's eyes. Because if you're not looking into, being like something in other people's eyes, you're not feeling like who you say you are. Was that a lie? Did I just make that up? And we talking about people that done went to school and paid thousands, spent years, did lectures, did, um, how you say, essays and all types of shit on the subject. And know what I'm saying is truth, knowing what I'm saying is right, and will hate me for it because they going like this. Why did I didn't know that? As a matter of fact, I did know that, but I fell for the game. And he's sitting here didn't do none of the shit that what you call I done killed myself for. Because you done did shit to get that money to acquire that knowledge. Some of it might have been stuff that, you might not be proud of. All to get ahead on something that you didn't need to get ahead of. Ain't nothing here that's made or haven't yet to be made that don't belong to all of us. Once once it's created, it could be multiplied, which we all know this. We see it. There's multiple cars, multiple what you call, and there's a lot of that stuff. Trains, planes, boats that have been made that never been used because people so-called didn't have the money to buy it when you don't need the money to buy it. Only thing you have to do, it's already created. Whoever created it or the people that like creating, it's not gonna stop creating. They going because this is something that they love to do. This is they know how. This is they skill. This is however they pride themselves on whatever they make. So if they're not making the stuff that they like to make, what are they doing? Nothing. Or are they doing something that they like to do if they're getting paid for it or not? And you doing something that you truly love, it's payment in itself. This money thing is a trap where you got to work for money. And then I'm doing the job that you do, but yet you get more money than me. How? How is that? Do that make sense? We can have the same title, but your pay could be different from my pay. There's 9 billion people on the planet and counting, right? I want anybody in the world answer this. What job that we have here anywhere on the planet that 9 billion of us can't have? If there's 9 billion people, name one job that one individual that want to do that job can't have. Is there 9 billion jobs to be done? And I mean 9 billion jobs, different jobs. Because if it's 9 billion different jobs, that means each individual got some type of one of those jobs is theirs because there's 9 billion people. Now say what you call it ain't 9 billion, which we know it ain't 9 billion different job positions. So that there's means multiple people will have to do one job, right? For every job that's here. And if everybody has a job that they're willing to do and doing it because they're willing to do it, with no remorse, no complaint, do it with, with love, you could say. 'Cause it will be effortless. It will be something, that's in them to do that makes them happy to do it. How there's no job for that individual. A lot of y'all went to school for specific skill sets, graduated and everything. and can't get that job because those all the positions are filled. People, we got 9 billion people on the planet. Again, tell me one job that can't be filled by any individual that's willing to do that job. Because all of us ain't gonna be just janitors on the planet. All of us ain't gonna be just doctors on the planet. As many different positions there are, equivalent to 9 billion. And the ratio of who truly wants to do what and truly skilled to do what. And those people will have those positions and no need of money because whatever they need, helpers they need, and counterparts for the whole system, for whatever, say the hospitals. Every doctor needs what you call, every needs a surgeon. You got 9 billion people on the planet. There should be damn near a surgeon for everybody. And I'm not just talking about one or two. We talking about a couple of hundred million, at least a million easy. And that's the least. Do we have 1 million doctors? Do we have what you call 500 million doctors? Which that will be more closer to what it should be. And it should be a little more, but what you call I'm gonna put it in between them. And so on. Even if you put 500 million in each position, it still wouldn't account up to 9 billion people. And I haven't even did the math on it. And I'm saying that this is how real simple shit is that we make complicated. All of out of competition, ego, envy, greed, so-called status. I don't give a fuck if you're a king, queen, emperor, president, royalty, if any. You my equal. Even if we ain't the same, you're my equal. You're not above me. You're not beneath me. You my equal. And if you feel anything other than that, who are you? Because if you truly secure in yourself, there's nothing on the outside that can actually affect you. Because you live in your true path, your true, what you was truly created to be, to do. And by you doing that 1, 2, 100, 500 things, maybe even more, because it's up to you and also your makeup. And if you doing it with love, with integrity, with real intention, not negative intention, but loving intentions, you the perfect person for whatever position that is, because it will be done and done well without nobody being on their back. Because for whatever reason they do what they do. It's because they don't like, you know, the negative aspect of it. Say you sanitation. A lot of us don't like picking up garbage, but yet we quick to make garbage, quick to throw something on the floor. You know, you quick, but yet we don't like to clean. A lot of us don't like to clean, or wouldn't have that as our profession. But if we didn't dirty or litter, they it wouldn't the job wouldn't be needed because we are all doing that job. Do you understand? And when it's time for collection, it's just a joint thing because it needs to be done. And if it ain't done, how how life will be, it'll be a junkyard out here. We have flies, we have rats, we have all types of shit, which we experience a lot of it now. It don't have to be this way. Oh, what you call, if we don't let it, they don't have a job. That's a ignorant or low vibrational mindset. The job will always be there. The job will always need to be done. Right? Don't we make garbage every day? Don't we throw garbage out our house every day? Why do we do those things? Because we don't want it to accumulate and build up in your environment and start bringing flies and disease and sickness and stuff, right? And that's just one position. None of us like to get sick. How many doctors that's truly doctors in here, in spirit, in knowledge, in all that, that did the same thing as the other individual that I said went to the school, paid all that money, and can't get the job that they dedicated a lot of their life to acquire, and they have to settle for something else, something different, a new or totally new skill set that wasn't planned on. Nine times out of ten don't want really wants to be done because that's not where your heart is. That's not where your love is. That wasn't your first choice. And a lot of people is miserable because of that, even if they are so-called comfortable. These are all silent, hidden truths in a lot of individuals, in all of us. But I'm here to speak about it. I'm here to let it be known. I'm here because God is saying, speak these truths. Your insight will expand and awaken mass awakenings. And I'm flabbergasted about that. Like, for real, Lord, like, me, not saying it can't be me, but at the same time, really, Lord, like, That's not something that I truly choose to do because of this. It's not the fear of it. It's the I, 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 I don't. I'm not trying to offend, but it's the ignorance. It's the no common sense. Like, and common sense is common, but they would say everybody don't have common sense. Everybody don't have common sense because they're not using their brain. Nobody want to sit down and use their brain. They just want to ride off of what's somebody else said or what multiple people so called agree to say I'm down. Oh, you just want to be the oddball. No, I'm not. It's not being the oddball. It's being real enough and unafraid enough to speak what's supposed to be spoken. Truth, only truth supposed to be spoken. Truth is the only value that's truly here. Without truth, there is no wisdom. Without truth, there is no knowledge. Without truth, there's nothing. Everything that you so-called know about physics, about what you call chemistry and all that, ain't these tried and tested? Aren't these known facts? Because they've been tried and tested. Am I really that far gone? Am I talking nonsense? Am I talking a language that no other human understands? Y'all all feel it. Yeah, since 2024, forget what you call the pandemic, but what you call it, since 2004, things been feeling different, right? For everybody. Don't think it's just you. If you saying that you still on the same timeline or in the same routine that that you brought into being is 100% still the same, even if you are still doing the same thing, is it hitting the same way? Is it? You know, um, but I know I ain't crazy, and I'm not the only one talking like this. But are y'all aware of that? And y'all need to fall down on your knees and thank God for the individuals that do speak truth, that do search for absolute wisdom, knowledge, understanding, absolute law, and truth. And what saves, what needs to be saved. We are what you call the chosen earth angels, light beings, and all that. We not the saviors. We the tools of the Savior. We the vessel that he, she, spirit, the all in all, source creator, performs its absolute law. All this is written. All of this is in Revelations. We are here, and there's mass devastation that we're gonna start performing, which we have been seeing the little ripple effects already through the pandemic and so on. And even now, even though we not in the pandemic, but vibrations, if you call it, we truly here. And we need to open our hearts, we need to open our minds, we need to have understanding, not just the outside, but for you to understand the outside, you gotta understand yourself from the inner. Not what the world wants you to be, but what your inner self says you are. And let it lead the way. The things that we are told no, we can't have, it's because we allow them to tell us no, we can't have. How, that's just like you teaching we a lot of us teach our kids, oh, don't do drugs, don't smoke weed, but yet that's all your kids see you and your friends do. Don't drink. That's what your kids see you and your friends do. But you saying don't smoke, but yet that's what your kids and other individuals that so-called or for some reason look up or see something that they want to aspire to see doing. And a lot of everything we learn is mimicking somebody else. And that's all knowledge. It's given from the source through a vessel that makes it known, shows the process, and passes it on, and so on. We're mimicking what we have learned. Now, this is the part where you go into your inner self and start asking these questions. What have I picked up? What did I allow to stay around? What I'm doing that truly don't serve me, but me actually serving it. And you'll start coming to your truths when you start asking real questions about yourself, about the things that you are doing, how you see certain things, and the things that you do see and how you see it. Are you the only one that see it that way? And we all know that a lot of us can see the same thing the same way, but not to absolute because I'm not in your head and you not in mine. We just have a general knowledge of what's being said as far as your wordplay of being presented. And a lot of times that what we look at. But we're supposed to look at that wordplay and the actions at the same time, because if the wordplay is saying one thing and the actions are saying something totally different, there's a falsehood there, which is false. The the knowledge or the action. Because if the action don't work with the knowledge don't work with the action, how's either or actually hold any weight? Because you got to perform what's being taught for it to not just be said or understood, but personified. If you live in what you're speaking, if you talking and living up to what you talking, that's absolute wealth. That's absolute authenticness. Authenticness. And if you do that in every aspect of who you are and how you see yourself and how you truly want to see yourself, or see yourself, your perfect self in your mind, in your mind's eye, and look at yourself at this moment and where you see yourself in your highest timeline in your mind's eye. Do it live up? If it live up, then you living the good life. If it don't live up, it means you got some work to be doing. And the quicker you do the work, the faster you get to that great person that you perceive yourself to be or wants yourself to be, which you already are. You just got to open up those doors to, or plant those seeds to create the garden that you want to create, and be that garden. You enjoy? I know I did a little long talking there, but let's make it complicated simple, because there is no complicated without the simple. Basics. Let's take everything to the basics. The complicated, it stems off the basics. If the complicated is too complicated, break it down to its basics where it ain't complicated and bring it back up where when it gets complicated, you know where the flaw is at. There's a correction that needs to be made. But y'all can continue to hate. Y'all can continue to be closed minded. But no, God's law is absolute. He's just telling you to pick a side. Because his will, as we've seen through the test of time, or have heard, have researched, even if you didn't do it, you have individuals that dedicated their lives and schooling and all that to so have that besieged and honor. I'll tell you the same shit that I just told you. They might be mad. Who told you this? Oh, some average nigga on YouTube. Fuck you mean? He was a professor? Nah, he's just some street nigga. And he gonna look at you until you stop playing with him. He gonna say, you talk to somebody, you went to some type of school, he'd be ready to fight you because you telling him his whole ambition was just handed to somebody that has none of the so-called qualifications on paper that they have from a so-called recognized institution. Institution, did you hear that? Don't it sound like jail? Be free, my friends, or stay chained up, being a mental mind slave, energetic slave to wicked entities. All right, you have a good one.